America has always been called the melting pot. Please go ahead and turn to 110. Pennsylvania and Delaware. If you look at the very top of 110, where it says William, please read along with me. William Penn came from a rich family that belonged to the Church of England. He left England to establish an American colony and became a member of a religious group called the Society of Friends, or Quakers. So we're going to pause right there. So Quakers is another type of religion, and the founder, his name was George Fox. He taught that all believers were guided by the Bible and an inner light. His followers were called Quakers. Their belief in the unity of all people is shown in William Penn's letter to the Lenni Lenape. So he said in this letter, and this is George Fox said this. This is William Penn's letter, so this is William Penn said this. This great God has written his law in our hearts, by which we are taught and commanded to love and help and do good to one another, and not to do harm and mischief one unto another. They believed that everyone should be kind to one another, no matter what their differences were. They believed that everyone should tolerate one another. They believed that the Bible was teaching them that they're supposed to love their neighbors, that they are supposed to be kind to their neighbors. And so William Penn was living in England at a time where the Church of England was the only type of religion that you could go to. And so the Quakers were often getting jailed for their beliefs. So let's go ahead and see how Pennsylvania got started. Look at Penn's colony. Fortunately for Penn, King Charles II owed money to his father. After the death of Penn's father, the king paid his debt by giving William Penn a large piece of land in the middle colonies. Penn named the colony Pennsylvania, or Penn's Woods, in honor of his father. He called his first settlement Philadelphia. In Greek, the word means city of brotherly love. Philadelphia soon became a center for trade along the Delaware River. Once again, this was another colony that had a great harbor for trade. And so this colony also grew very quickly. Like the Puritans, the Quakers in England had been jailed for their beliefs. Penn wanted a place where they could worship without fear. William Penn wanted a place where they could worship without fear. His father had been given this land, and so William Penn actually went over here and started this land for the Quakers so that they could worship without the fear of being prosecuted and jailed. Okay, turn to 111. I'm going to read where it says people. When most everyone else in the colonies took land from Native Americans, William Penn paid them for their land. He believed that Native Americans and colonists could live in peace. So William Penn had been given this land over here in North America. But when he arrived there, Native Americans were actually living there. So William Penn went to the Native Americans and asked them to sell part of the land to him. He paid the Native Americans for the land. So even though it was given to him, he did not just take it. He actually bought it. And he was a very wealthy man, so he could do that. Underneath where it says people, it says when Penn wrote his frame of government of Pennsylvania in 1682, he included in it the right to free worship and the right to a trial by jury. So this was the first time in history in the 1600s where they actually would have a jury of a group of people who would listen to all the facts of why they were breaking the law, whatever the reason was that they were in jail. And they were innocent until proven guilty by the jury. Settlers from different lands. Pennsylvania attracted people from a variety of religions and backgrounds. Many Germans, for example, came to Pennsylvania to escape wars in their homeland. Other German immigrants belonged to a religious group called the Mennonites. They were called plain people because they lived and dressed simply. German settlers in Pennsylvania are often called the Pennsylvania Dutch. The reason for this could be that the word for German in the German language is Deutsch. One German settler wrote about his voyage by 1683. My company consisted of many sorts of people. They were not only different in respect to their occupations, but were also of such different religions and behaviors that I might compare the ship with Noah's Ark. This settler wrote in his journal about his journey over to the New World, and he told about how it not only had a diverse amount of occupations, which is jobs, but it also had people that spoke they had different languages, they had different religions. Pennsylvania, New York, and New Jersey, it really intrigued people over in Europe, and more people wanted to move here because you really did have freedom of religion. You really did have the freedom of choice and tolerance. And so a lot of people wanted to move over into the middle colonies because of this. It was okay to be different. Let's go ahead and at the very bottom of 111. It says, in addition to settlers from Germany and England, Pennsylvania attracted many Scots-Irish people. The Scots-Irish were people from Scotland who settled in Ireland in the early 1600s. They left Ireland in search of jobs and land to farm, in short, a better life. Delaware. The southeastern part of Pennsylvania was called the Three Lower Counties. Before the English settled there, the region had been part of New Sweden. The colonists of the Three Lower Counties wanted to make their own laws. In 1704, Penn allowed this area to elect its own assembly under the control of Pennsylvania's governor. Today, this area is the state of Delaware. So here is the state of Delaware. And here's Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and New York. So that is the middle colonies. Okay. The middle colonies had a great, after they had slashed and burned the eastern woodlands, they had a very rich, fertile soil, and so they had great agriculture. They also they grew wheat very well. Factories produced iron, paper, and textiles. Trading goods with England was common. Some of the different facts is that it was nicknamed the breadbasket colonies because they grew so many crops and for making different bread. So they had a lot of different cash crops for wheat. In addition to the lush land for growing crops, there were several large harbors. Germans built the Conestoga wagon here, which is this right here. Okay. Settlers that lived here came from many different places and backgrounds. They were very diverse. Dutch, Swedish, French, Belgian, English, and more. Many lived in Philadelphia. Philadelphia means brotherly love in Greek. It was founded on the principles of living peacefully together. The Quakers were the people who started Pennsylvania. They believed that all people were equal. They refused to swear loyalty to a king or queen. They refused to participate in war. They came to America for refuge and worship, and they lived in New Jersey, New York, and Pennsylvania. They were tolerated here along with other different religions. Okay, go ahead and go to the next slide, and I want you to fill out your Google form comprehension sheet about this lesson. So I will see you guys next week. Bye.